Hola, howdy, hello. So, greetings, folks. This is Sarana Naranamurthy here to talk about the mind business. Just like yesterday's session of podcast that elaborate over the hesitance of a hero pigeon, today's podcast details about how boxish our life is and what are the key takeaways of the wake up call. Okay, so as the narration progresses, so today's podcast is completely about the flock of pigeons. Are we in a box? Okay, so let's go back to the story of those domesticated pigeons. So being inside the bars all day long, sharp by morning 5:30 a.m., the pigeon keeper comes and opens up the doors. Being totally exposed to that immense freedom, something weird happens every day. So, once set free, the happy pigeons would excitedly flutter out their wings to take off their journey to conquer the sky. The speed in which they come out from the box is really like, wow, how happy they are. So, in that way. But what happens? Every day they fly around and round and round. Around and around, but only for a certain radius. And once they reach that particular radius, they again go back, sit over terraces, see if there are grains spilled around, especially for them, which most of them do, and that is a really glad thing to actually witness. And after eating up and after being around for a while, they go back to their terrace. So every time I really see this with a wonder. So how come? Do they really love living within a box? I don't think so. But every time the exact same path, same radius. Oh, how was it? I was extra curious and wanted to really check out how they are not curious to explore. But there was only one answer which I could get. That's how pigeons exist. So, how are humans? How do we exist? So imagine the whole entire beautiful world totally surrounding us. It's just around us. Once we step out of a home, we are on the world. Even a home is one part of a world. And we just see how vast and wonderful it is. But we are just inside, take 25,000 square kilometers. That's the only path or only places you see in your entire lifetime. Oof, how is it? How would you feel? That you haven't really experienced something? Imagine presenting a plate full of biryani to you and eating only the center part. Would you really have the mind to get away from it? Exactly. I have heard this quote and every time it fascinated me. Our biggest limitations are the ones to which we set our minds to. How true it is, right? Before we get started with something, we have this fixation in our mind. Okay, so this is what I will do. Now, this is only the amount of time I can spend on it. This is how much I can. See, is there anybody who programs you? Most of the time, it's ourselves. We ourselves, when we start doing something, we said, okay, I will definitely not be able to do the entire thing, only a part of it. The boundaries we set to ourselves are often the ones that don't exist. Sometimes we think, okay, I will not be able to write more than 10 pages. But when an examination comes, within a time of 3 hours, we fill up 40 to 50 pages. My God, just for marks. So what is happening there? We are just breaking through our boundaries. Why do we break through our boundaries? Because we should at that time. If a pigeon had thought, it could have gone. It could have really gone, explored as much as its life would really permit it to. But it would not. Why? Because it has set its own boundaries. Likewise, even humans. We always have the most highest potential within ourselves. But most of the time, we tell ourselves we won't be able to do it. We have this limitation. I couldn't do it. I will not do it. I might not be really able to do it. And lots more. Had a man once thought that he could do anything which he sets his mind to, he would have achieved more than what any man living on this earth would ever would. And there are a lot of living examples for that too. But the question is, how about we? How about you and me? So I could very much relate to this particular incident which happened with the pigeons, because many a times by seeing my disabilities or previous experiences of flunking up things, I have a lot of times thought, no, I wouldn't take up this challenge because I would not be able to do. When someone asks you why would you not be able to do, I would have said, last time when I was given something, I totally flunked it. So once it was a failure, it would definitely be a failure this time too. How stupid I was at that time, thinking a failure once would be a failure forever. No, right? It would never be. Do you give yourself the complete freedom? Or do we give ourselves the limited freedom? Or I shouldn't say it as limited freedom, it is more like a restriction which you put on yourself. That is when I got my mantra for effective living. Anything the mind conceives and believes, it can achieve. Say it to yourself more than once, twice, thrice, or more than 10 times in one day. Anything the mind conceives and believes, it can achieve. So, whenever a new dream comes in, don't restrict yourself. Let yourself free. Let yourself totally free. Give yourself the permission to succeed. Train your brain to believe it. And don't be like a pigeon. Remember, we are not living inside a box. Don't create one. So, with this podcast, I would really tell you not to just stay restricted like a pigeon, but be as free as possible because we are humans. So, with this and with a lot of happiness, with this podcast has given me, nothing has really made me this excited than this wake up call series, because every inch of podcast I really felt I was giving some part of me to it. Such love. Okay, so yeah, with this concluding this session of podcast, so stay tuned for the third mantra of this wake up call, which is coming up in the next series. So until then, stay safe, stay happy, keep smiling, and listen to The Mind Business. With love, signing off.